Hello, this is Lance Lee, and welcome to another segment of Success in Japan. In the background, you see two Harley-Davidsons, which would give you the feeling that we might be in a Harley-Davidson dealership. Well, we're not. These Harleys belong to Jane Yamano's father. And Jane Yamano happens to be the person I'm interviewing today. She's the Chancellor of Yamano Beauty and Aesthetics College. We're here in Hachioji, and right here, you can see a bronze statue of Jane's grandmother, Aiko Yamano, who actually started this college over 60 years ago. Without any further ado, let's go talk with Jane. Jane, I understand you have more than one title, and I won't even try to say what all of them are. Could you please explain to us what they are?
Yes, it gets very confusing. People always ask me, what do you do? And I said, well, in what respect? We do everything. But as generally speaking, we have a company, Yamano Gakuen, and that's the main holding company. And I am now vice chairman or vice president of Yamano Gakuen. And then for the Yamano Beauty School, the college in Yoyogi, I'm actually the principal. Mm-hmm. And then for this school, which is the Yamano College of Aesthetics, I'm the vice-chancellor. Then we have a kimono company for kimono dressing, and I'm so-called the soke. It's the head mistress or headmaster. Doesn't translate very well in English, but of the kimono dressing school.
Tell me the size of your organization. I know you have the beauty college here of aesthetics.
We've always been recognized as one of the largest beauty schools, throughout Japan and actually in the world, because usually beauty schools you have maybe 100 to 300 students, maybe 500 if you're lucky. If the beauty school has different schools in different areas, even the combination of that usually doesn't equal to our number. And we've been doing 1,000 students for maybe, my grandmother started 65 years ago, so it wasn't that many then, but I would say for the past 20, 30 years we've had always many, many students, which we're very fortunate for.
Where do they go from here? Let's say once they graduate. And how long is the course?
Both schools are 2 years.
2 years, yes.
And they'll study here for 2 years. This school, Yamano College of Aesthetics, is a junior college. Mm-hmm. So from here, if you continue on 2 more years, you can get your BA degree. And we have affiliation schools in the U.S. Then in Japan, they can also continue. We have a Senkoka program, which you can also continue another 2 years and get your BA degree. And so then from here, they would go somewhere in the beauty industry, hopefully, because we have 3 areas of studying here. It's byofukushi, which is beauty and welfare, so caring for the aged. Byohoken is beauty and wellness, so more like aesthetics and aerobics or yoga, exercising. And then beauty and art, which would be more the beauticians, and of course they learn drawing and sculpting and different things like that.
So Jane, this is actually a college.
Yes.
The degree, so it's
and
a
by
BA
the Ministry
degree.
of Education.
Ministry of Education.
It's an AA degree.
AA degree.
Yes.
Do other colleges provide this type of course for their students?
Not in the beauty industry. My grandmother I think she only graduated from elementary school, and to become the chancellor of a junior college, it was her dream and always has been her dream to raise the level of the education and as well as the status of beauticians. And that's happening all over the world right now. I was in Los Angeles, and a lady named Mrs. Mihan that used to own Redken. Mm-hmm. She has also devoted herself to show the industry, the whole industry. She wants this on Wall Street Journal, that the beauty industry, is a billion-dollar industry that, should be recognized.
Yeah. Now, your grandmother had 6 sons,
right?
My understanding.
Correct.
And your father was to take over this division of the company, but your grandmother had her sights on you being the first female from her first son. That's correct? And that's why your middle name is her first name, Aiko. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. Now, how did you feel as a 12-year-old when she started to tell you that you were going to take over this conglomerate?
Right. Well, it didn't quite happen at 12. It actually happened the day of graduation when I was a senior, when I was 18. Mm-hmm. I really had nothing to do with the beauty industry, what they did, absolutely nothing. Until graduation day and that afternoon came along, and later I was all excited to go back to the U.S. for college, and that's when the plug came. They plugged the cork on the bottle there, but they said that my grandparents, my family, it was a very intense meeting because I didn't understand Japanese, even though we lived here for 6 years.
Right.
We used English at home, English at school. But on that day, my grandfather had told me that no, she's not going to America. She needs to stay here and be with the grandmother, Aiko Yamano, and follow her footsteps.
How did that make you feel?
It was a rude awakening. But then I had my grandfather from the U.S., and my grandparents had come to actually bring me back with them. And then my own family, too, my parents. They were very sweet because they said, you know, Jane, please just try. You know, we can't ask any more of that of you. If you try and you just can't do it and you don't like it, we'll go home. I went to Sophia and beauty school at the same time after I graduated from high school. And it was strange because all these Japanese people, they go, oh, that's Yamano Aiko's granddaughter. And I'm like, why do you know who my grandmother is? You know, I couldn't understand.
So when she got you in the car when you guys were going places, would she try to give you pointers then?
Yes, she would try to explain.
In Japanese?
In Japanese.
So you still didn't get all of it,
No.
but you knew it meant something.
Right. I mean, she'd be explaining. A thing with technical things is that she could show. Like if we're doing a model or if we'll go do photo shoots, we'd go to study seminars that she would be teaching, and I'd be around. So I'd always be watching. And I got the best view in the house because I'm right next to her.
When you think of your grandmother, what are some of the fondest thoughts or memories you have of her?
I remember her it's like the energizing bunny commercial, that she just was never out of energy. She was always moving, going, smiling, you know, trying to make people happy. And that's what we all would like to do, and that's what I realized, you know, beauty industry is not so bad. You know, it's not like I have to tell somebody they're going to die tomorrow or give them shots every day or things like that. I mean, we're making them look pretty and feel better. And I realize that the beauty industry is such a wide range of jobs that, you know, I really enjoy it now, I must say. From the first day, had I known there was this much to expect, I would have been a little happier.
Okay, let's move locations from here to the tea house, and see some of the school while we're doing it.
Okay.
And then we'll talk a little bit further.
All right. This house was donated to us by the Urasenke, Iemoto at the time. He was the headmaster.
It was already built, so
it was built and took 2-3 years to transplant over here.
We're in a new setting. As you can see, we have a different surrounding now. We happen to be in a very famous tea room. And Jane, could you tell us a little bit more about where we are right now?
Okay, actually this house was given to us by the Urasenke's Iemoto, which is the headmaster. He's now referred to as the Daisosho, and he has now given his title to his son. But at the time, you know, my grandmother had wished, gee, I wish I had a tea house. We never believed we were going to have the tea house. This tea house was originally located in Yotsuya, and it was called Kojian. I almost had a heart attack on that opening.
Well, what happened? Tell us.
No, well, I had to serve tea to the headmaster. I had to do it about 8 times. And we must have had 500-600 people come through this house. So they would come here and just kind of put their things away, and then they'd go and they'd have tea. And my dad did the okoicha, which is the thicker tea, on the floor. And then they had to go upstairs, and I did the usucha, which is the more not so thick tea. But I had to learn how to do it within, like, I want to say less than a month or so. And my father, I remember we were in Korea or something, I said, hey, have you started those tea lessons? Because I just went to my first one, and I don't know if we're going to be able to do this, you know? And he's like, why? I said, well, for instance, here, and I gave him my napkin. Do you know what you do with this? He goes, yeah, you picked it up, and rolled it around. I said, no, it's like this, you know, keep your elbows in. Inhale, exhale, bring your arm up, make sure it's at this degree, you know, and it's placement too. It's like not here, but it's here. Okay, now what's the difference? Right. I don't know.
Right, you still don't.
No,
but
I mean,
there is a reason. There is a reason for it, though.
There's a reason for everything.
Jane, one of the questions I always end an interview with is, what do you consider success in Japan to be?
I think the whole world can learn so much from Japan. And it's not just the electronics and the, you know, the mechanical things. It's the culture, it's the heart of the Japanese. Through their culture, you can learn so much. You know, from tea, you learn serenity, the calmness, but you also have to be fairly well educated in order to explain the different things, which I'm still working on, by the way. You know, whether it's the proverbs that are written on the wall to the, you know, types and places that the cups are made from. You know, in the art world, you need to be very, you know, you need to study a lot. But even just mannerism, Whether when you drink tea, you have to bow to the person on, this side, okay, I'm going to drink tea. I'm going to drink before you. It's the mannerism, the thankfulness that you have to have in your heart. I'm going to drink the tea, and you're thanking the tea and the person who made it for you. And it's just a whole different experience. But I mean, that's the feeling, that you're supposed to enjoy the tea, enjoy the company, enjoy the moment, because this is the only time that this will happen. Right? You can't back up, and this exact same moment with the exact same people, the exact same weather will never happen again. And so you learn to appreciate these things. And I think there's so much to learn in Japanese tradition that the Japanese are missing out, because they're so interested, I want to go to America, I want to go to Europe, I want to be Americanized, modern. That's good in one way, but they should really realize Japan has so much for them. In the kimono even, the dressing, the traditions, the family values. It's a shame that, they want to be American, or they want to dress like they do, but, this is Japan. And there is just so much. And with each year that I'm here, I realize how lucky I am that I'm being able to, help our students try to understand it better at their, they're 18, 19 years old. I make them, promise me, will you get married? When you get married, will you wear a kimono? Because that's a start. That is a start. As wonderful as Japan is, it's very hard to be American and come to Japan and be constricted with rules and culture in another way. My mother had a tough time coming back to Tokyo or not back, but moving to Japan because of the very Japanese part of our family tradition. Things that you have to do, things that you have to, always be ready to see people, and I think it was just very hard for her. And people who have lived here a long time end up coming back, but on the other side of it, once you leave, it's difficult. There's choices that you can't. There's normal freedom that you don't have in Japan that you would have in the U.S. And I think that would be the only thing I might miss, but I'm not saying I wish I lived in the U.S. I've finally come to believe that Japan is for me, and I'm really happy to be here.
In the background, we have some of the artwork done by some of the teachers here at Yamano School for Beauty and Aesthetics. Jane has been a beautiful and fantastic host today, and I hope all of you enjoyed this interview as much as I enjoyed giving it. Thank you for watching this segment of Success in Japan.